up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fish and Friends with Danny and Gina. I'm Danny.
I'm Gina.
And man, we haven't heard that in a while.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We just haven't heard the whole normal intro in quite a while in general, just because I haven't been necessarily streaming on the regular and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, you've been through, a lot of different things over the last couple months. So,
Yes.
and then with our, with my new job, my schedule's changed. I'm not always available on Saturday nights. And that means you're not always available on Saturday nights now, too, because starting tomorrow, Gina and I are working together.
At the same store, yep. And my official transfer date is tomorrow. Although, I think, whenever I log into the handheld, I think it's still going to show up as the old store. I think it's going to take, a week or so for all my stuff to convert over. Yeah. So I might still have to log in under Brian.
On the schedule, on, the paperwork, it looks like you're there because it says, you've been at our store already for a week. You've just been on site at Fenton.
Oh, okay, so,
yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all are gonna get tired of it. Not necessarily, because we won't actually be always working together side by side. We're just gonna be working at the same place. And honestly, I think that's gonna be some great teamwork between the two of us. The store is 7 to 10 minutes away from both of our houses. It's our local Petco that we go to. I've already actually seen several of my old Schwann's customers coming in to go shopping. So that's been really nice to get to see some of my customers and get to continue to see them as they come shopping into Petco. And I already know Gina does a really good job of working hard, and she's worked at that store already. She's been working for Petco for a long time, so having another manager at the store that I can fully rely on is just going to be great.
Rely on and communicate with. We know how to talk to each other.
Right. Exactly.
I don't like that passive-aggressive BS. I'm going to be straight. Hey, you forgot to do this last night. Oh, shoot, you're right. My bad. Okay.
Exactly. So I'm have to make the trip to
give us a few months to fix it, though. It's in pretty bad. It's rough. It's rough.
It's kind of in rough shape right now.
Especially aquatics. I don't know. Have you been working on aquatics?
I've been kind of trying to help out a little bit.
Yeah.
Our normal aquatics person had been out for a couple days because of medical issues. And so all of a sudden, I'm over there, kind of talking some fish with somebody, and somebody points right at the saltwater tanks in the middle. I'm what happened to those? And it's just algae covering the glass, pretty bad. I wasn't sure exactly what he meant at first, if he meant they look different because of the lights or but yeah, the algae was pretty bad. And he's oh yeah, I'm kind of sorry about that, man. Our normal aquatics person has been out for a couple days, and with the amount of fish that we carry in these tanks and all that stuff, that algae just takes over really quick. So
this is what happens when you let your phosphates get too high.
I'm gonna actually go find a sponge right now and clean that up so we can take a better look at these fish. Yeah. And you can just talk to me about whatever you want while I'm scrubbing this glass down. So.
What's nice is that I'm still on good terms with my old store, and they can pretty much order whatever fish they want. So I'm hoping to get the sales up to partner with that store. They're going to order stuff for us and transfer it over. So
nice.
Yeah.
Let Gina do her thing is basically what she's saying. And that's exactly what I'm saying too. It's a person that I know that just let her do what she's doing. And also it's another person that I can ask questions to since I'm kind of new to this. Surprisingly, a lot of the things are very much the same as it was at Pet Supplies Plus. it's just instead of having to get onto the computer and use a lot of different programs and do a lot of things manually as well, a lot of things are kind of automatically done, and it's all in a little handheld instead of having to bounce forth and do all these different things. So it actually kind of goes back and reminds me of a lot of things of when I worked at Target too.
Yeah.
With how everything was all in the handheld. So
that's still kind of new to Petco. They've made those changes in the last like 2 years. So
right.
Yeah.
So some of the things are just kind of like fallen back into some old habits when I worked at, Target and Pet Supplies Plus and things like that. And some things are a little bit new or just have like a new spin because Petco has a specific way of doing it versus something else. And then like it seems really like everybody has their own term for like zoning or facing or gosh, I've heard some other ones that I've only heard like once or twice, so I can't even remember what they are. But like Walgreens has their own version of it.
Target I was gonna say Brian can say something, and I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, sorry, that's the Walgreens term because Brian's from Walgreens.
Right? Yeah. So yeah. So it's nice. I do like working there so far, and I haven't gotten my first full paycheck yet, but the half paycheck I got last week for working the 1 week that I did was basically the same amount that I was taking home when I was working at Schwann's too. So it's just like, all right, like I'm gonna be okay. And actually, it was a little bit more, which is good.
Oh yeah, next week's pay week. Okay.
Yeah, so next week is pay week, and that'll be my first like full paycheck where I get to see like what I'm gonna be bringing home on the more regular thing. Then it's just like, okay, I'm kind of excited to see what that's gonna be and to like get myself, set up in my new budget and all that, and then get my credit card paid off. Because
yeah. So nothing gets by Joshua. He's already noticed.
Did you get a new reptile or upgraded cage? Well, you can say a little bit of both. So yeah, I got a new pet. This guy right here.
Damn.
Got a bearded dragon. His name is Glaurum, which is the first dragon that was created by Morgoth in the first age of Middle Earth in like the J.R.R. Tolkien universe. And so the first dragon didn't have wings and all that, so it's like it's perfect.
There you go.
Bearded dragon. So I already had a lizard named Smaug once, and so I couldn't go with that name again. And so I was just like, what else is there? It's like, oh yeah, Glowering, the first dragon. So I went with that one.
Is that the clay cave kit that you used to make that?
I went with the excavator clay, and I kind of made some different stuff. Let's see how much. I don't remember how much cord I have with this camera, but let me kind of see if I can. Yeah, so you can see I kind of got a little bit of a hill on the other side, and there's like another cave in there too. And then there's like the really big cave on that one side.
Nice.
Reset. There we go. As far as I know, I haven't seen him like go in either of the caves yet. He's been spending most of his time up in that basking area, and I've seen him down in like the food bowl. Do I have a temperature gun? No. But literally right next to where he's sitting, you can see that's where I have the thermometer, and then I have the humidity one on the other side. I have learned since having a bearded dragon that a lot of the information that I learned about them at Pet Supplies Plus was wrong. And I haven't like learned anything like as far as any information about bearded dragons through Petco yet. I haven't asked any of my coworkers any information about them yet. And they didn't really tell me anything specifically about, like, well, they did tell me about, this guy needs a salad, the food. They walked me through some of this stuff, but they didn't talk about like humidity levels that are required or anything like that specifically. Some of that is all it's in the paperwork. Like I can find it, but I haven't been like directly taught that stuff. But anyway, like a lot of the stuff is just like it's common sense that I was thinking, but like some of the stuff that they were telling me to do at Pet Supplies Plus just didn't really make sense to me because it's like, don't these guys come from like a super arid environment, like pretty much kind of almost like desert like not actually desert, but almost desert and stuff. But here we are, we're like trying to keep their humidity up like really high and keep a water dish in there and all these different things. And it's like they don't just like drink water out of like a river or anything like that in the wild. Like they lick the dew off of the plants and stuff like that in the morning. And so that's why you're supposed to like mist them a little bit or put like a dropper on their head to like give them water, not like really put a water dish in there. I mean, if you're in like a super dry area and you're having trouble keeping the humidity in like the 30 to 40% area, then maybe you need to mist a little bit more and like keep a good sized water dish in there and stuff like that. But they get most of their moisture through the food. And then I also learned about not putting too many mealworms in there.
Yep.
Because they'll eat too much, and that's what actually causes the impaction issues. It's not really keeping them on sand or anything like that causes impaction. And pretty much nobody has experienced impaction on what you would call an adult bearded dragon. It seems to only ever happen on like the very small, like baby bearded dragons. And like I said, most of the time it's caused by people actually just overfeeding mealworms or anything like that. And then what's funny is I was looking at a video, some stuff on YouTube, and one of them was talking about like this horror story about like mealworms, like how bearded dragons can't eat mealworms because mealworms will like eat their way out of their stomach or something like that. And it's after looking at some other videos, how they were talking about impaction and all that, it's just like, that's where the horror stories come from. Yeah. Is people would overfeed their bearded dragons mealworms and their stomachs would burst and people would be like, the mealworms like cause the stomach to burst. And it's like, no, you overfed your bearded dragon. So coming to find out, like bearded dragons are actually like super easy to take care of, but you do need to kind of have a good varied diet and all that, and not overfeed them for sure. But he's pretty cool. I've had him kind of chill on my shoulder for a while already. He's got like a cool pattern because he was one of the fancy ones, but I bought him on Black Friday, so I got him 50% off. Yep. But he's got like a like reddish orange like stripe that goes like straight down his spine, and then kind of these like lavender colored like horizontal stripes that go all the way down his back. And he's pretty sweet looking. So I'm happy to have him. But yeah, I converted my 40-gallon breeder into the perfect enclosure for him. I, after doing a little bit more research as well, and also, just my experience of keeping this guy with this really bright red. Like I got the infrared red heat lamp, thinking that it wouldn't be too super bright or anything like that, and that'd be the perfect heat source for both, for 24/7, both day and night. But I've come to find out just pretty much right away that it's like that light is too bright. So sometime soon, when I get back to work, like the next day or something like that, I'm gonna buy one of the actual like black light heat lamps, because those really don't produce any sort of light, but they are a really good like heat lamp. And I feel like that'd be a little bit better for him, because they can see red light. There was some stories of them like not being able to see red lights. It was fine, but they can totally see red light, and it's so bright. Like when I turn all the other lights off in this room, that red light still is enough to see everything in this room. So I want to make sure that he gets actual darkness for like a good sleep cycle as well.
Nick, hello. He says, here I am thinking it's Wednesday night. You had me for a second.
Yeah.
Nope, it's Saturday. It's just because we haven't been consistent on our Saturdays. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, no, I always hate those red infrared lights just because of how much red they put off. Like they work fine. It's just they are bright.
Yeah. Great heat source, but yeah, very bright. And it's fine for like daytime heating, but yeah, it kind of like throws off the color and everything. Like, so it's just very bright. And I also can't like think to myself, like, I wouldn't like my environment to be bright red the entire time.
Yep.
Like that would screw with my eyesight. Like I have my lemon tree in my closet here with one of those like super pink ultra like grow lamps, and just spending like a few minutes watering it and just looking at that light for a few minutes after closing my closet, like it screws up my eyesight. Everything has like a greenish hint to I don't like it.
Yeah. Same thing with like the blue lights for the marine tanks. Whenever I worked at Marine Solutions, I'd be like scrubbing algae, staring under the blue lights, and then I'd turn around and everything's orange. It's like, oh God.
Right. Yep.
My eyes.
Yeah, I screwed up my eyes. I almost thought I screwed up my eyes permanently for a while, because I wore those like red and blue 3D glasses when I was a kid for like almost an entire day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just in my head or what, but I could swear for years I could like close one eye and open it, and one would be slightly more blue and the other would be slightly more red. And I just like I thought I screwed up my eyesight permanently.
Right.
Don't do that, kids.
Don't do that.
I mean, I don't even think they sell those 3D type glasses anymore anyway. But except maybe on like a cereal box. I don't know.
Hi, Sabrina.
How come we call a building a building? Once it's built, it's no longer a building. It's already built. Life is confusing.
Why do you call them cookies when you bake them? Why do you call it cooking? Or why do you call cookies because you bake them? Yeah. And I thought there was another part to that, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. In Britain, they call them biscuits.
Biscuits.
UV should only cover 2/3 of the cage. Yeah, that's about what I got. It's a 3-foot cage. I have a 2-foot or an 18-inch UV bulb in like a 2-foot like thing, and I pretty much have that directly over the log. So the log is the UV area, the top of the hill is the heat area, and then the other side is the cool side. And then I have this big egg. That is the food dish I was gonna get the small egg, but we were out of them, and then all of a sudden, like a couple days later, the small one came in. So I'm gonna buy the small egg too, and use one for one type of food and another for another type of food.
Like I know when those new egg dishes came in, we were all so excited about them. They're so freaking cute.
I love them. And I was kind of looking, I wonder if two of them, like if the pieces actually like fit together.
Oh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Because I'm kind of looking at the grooves. Well, no, they don't look like they would fit together perfectly. They might kind of fit together, but not actually like fit up perfectly.
Nick says, I didn't realize you had reptiles as well as fish, Miss Gina. Very awesome. I don't have any reptiles right now. Those are Danny's. We're not in the same house. We're in different houses.
It almost looks like we are.
No, he's his own person. I'm my own person. No, I don't have any reptiles right now. We did have a corn snake. That was our latest reptile, and she passed. But no, I currently don't. I just have 2 dogs, fish, and a bird.
So I don't know how long Nick has been a subscriber watcher of yours, but he might not even be aware that on Saturday nights, Gina and I both stream on actually both of our channels.
Yeah.
It started like 3 years ago now? Almost.
Yeah, we're on season 3, so yeah.
That we started live streaming, and it was originally just on my channel, but then Streamyard gave us the ability to actually stream the same stream on both of our channels. And so we decided to start doing that. Well, I decided to start doing that so that Gina had the ability to get watch hours as well, and all that. And then, we can be streaming on both of our channels and kind of double the opportunity to get viewers. I didn't necessarily foresee the chat, being the issue that it can be sometimes, because, Gina's channel can't see my chat and my channel can't see Gina's chat, even though here on the StreamYard side, Gina and I can see the chat of both sides like it's just one big chat. So.
Yeah. But it's okay.
Minimum of a 4x2x2.
Oh, he's talking about you need to start saving for your
I know. For the adult enclosure.
That'd be a Is that a 60?
That's a 4x2x2 is.
I know it's 4 foot.
It's like at least like a 75 or
that's not be a 60.
A 75 is technically I guess it's only 18 front to back or whatever, like the 40 breeder is. It's not quite 2 foot. I guess that would be what, a 150 is a 4x2x2.
Aw, Nick, thank you. I know he's from the knife side. I'm also from the knife and EDC community, but I like being here because she's a darn good person. Thank you.
Oh, well,
Nathan, shut up.
That's Nathan. Why I like having her as my co-host, because she's a darn good person, and she's kind of like the equal and opposite of me. So,
Nathan, you could shut up. She's okay. She's okay.
I'm very cynical, and Gina's very bubbly, so
I try to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a bearded dragon. And so now I have a bearded dragon, and I have a golden gecko, and I have a tarantula, and I have one fully operational fish tank in my bedroom right now, and 2 cockatiels, and a cat.
And a cat.
And I bought my cat a bed, and she has not cared about it at all.
See, that's the thing with cats. It has to sit there for like almost months before they'll even think about using it.
Yep. I've tried to like rub it all on myself and like different things to kind of give it scent of the home.
Yeah.
But it was like a clearance bed that has like lavender scent in it as well. So it's not like a super strong lavender scent, but it's kind of there. So it's just like, ooh, that's nice. So yeah.
Have you tried putting like catnip or something on it?
No. No, I don't know what my cat would do if I put catnip on there. She might try to eat it.
Volume does not indicate size. They make front opening 4x2x2, specifically for bearded dragons. Make sure you get the soil barrier for substrate. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do make those sorts of things. Well, see, what's funny is, a 40-gallon breeder is, probably the minimum tank size you would get for an adult female bearded dragon, because they are a little bit smaller. But yeah, a 4x2x2, which it's a 150 in aquarium tank sizes. I'm pretty sure. That's good for an adult male for sure, and I would love to get an extra big enclosure. But yeah, at Petco, it's funny, they have like the juvenile bearded dragon kit in a 20 long, which I guess is fine for an actual like little juvenile. But then the adult bearded dragon enclosure is the 40-gallon breeder with the front opening glass, and so.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit of some issues with things, which is kind of something that I kind of wanted to like talk about, is like the pros and cons of like big box stores.
Yeah. Those 20 long kits I usually try to sell for leopard geckos. Which sucks because there is a leopard gecko kit that's a 10-gallon. So it's the customers get a little confused, but I'm like, I know it says this, but the juvenile bearded dragon kit is actually better for the leopard gecko. The 40-gallon bearded dragon kit is good for the juveniles, but you will have to upgrade. Like,
yep.
How's everything else going, Gina? Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I did have a good Thanksgiving. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up a little bit. And what's his YouTube channel and Instagram? Danny?
Yeah.
Oh.
No Instagram. I don't subscribe to any sort of social media except YouTube and Rumble. But you can find my YouTube channel actually in her description
in the doobly
the video. Yeah. And same on my channel. You can find Gina's in my description. Or at least a link to the video, and then you can subscribe that way too.
Yep.
Yeah. I also stream on my Rumble channel in case I ever say anything to get myself kicked off of YouTube, but I don't think that'll ever happen anyway.
Yeah, Sabrina, we talked about it at the beginning of the stream. Tomorrow, I'm not looking forward to this 6 a.m. shift, but since it's only 5 minutes down the road from my house, I can get up at 5. I don't have to leave the house at 5.
Exactly. That's something that is great. It's 7 minutes away, so I can get up at 5. I don't have to leave at 5.
Yep. Can I say hi to Miko? Yep. Riley's over here pouting. So I streamed on Wednesday, and literally Thursday morning she developed this hot spot. This bald hot spot on her rump, and she won't stop licking it. So she's pouting because she's wearing the cone. It's her turn to wear the cone of shame.
Oh.
And she's running into everything. Riley. She's ignoring me. She's just purposely standing in the door ignoring me. Riley. Come here. Miko, come here. They want to say hi. The people just want to say hi. Come on. Whoop, you missed. Come on. Come on. There you go. There's Miko. So he's got the cone off. His stitches are out. He's all recovered. So now it's Riley's turn.
Dude, That is so true, Nick. When you live close to your work, it's just like getting a raise. And when you actually, so that's what's great is not only did I get like a slight raise when it comes to going from my previous job to working at Petco, but I live so much closer. So I've had to fill up my tank one time since I started working at Petco, and I just finished 3 weeks there. It's like, what? I used to have to fill up my tank at least every week.
Yeah.
At least once a week. Sometimes I would have that 1 week where I would have to fill up on like a Sunday and then fill up again on like Friday or Saturday. But man, it's so awesome that I work right around the corner. I got a little bit of a raise, and so far the job is pretty darn awesome. No real complaints so far. At least, nothing that I can really complain about because I was aware of the situation that I was entering. We got to find some good staff, and part of that is kind of getting rid of the mediocre staff as well.
It's also getting good management so you can keep the good staff.
Right. That too.
Did you guys get that night nurse worked out? No, we still don't have a night nurse. So, still working on it. I was warned it might take a little bit though, because it's hard to find night nurses.
Yeah. An in-home night nurse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just because, like, Kane technically gets medicine at 11 and then his last feeding at 12. And if I have to start getting up at 5 a.m. to get to work if I start getting up at 5 a.m. to start work at 6 or 8, opening at least. Or his first round of medicines is at 7. So even then, it's only like 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty much what I live on all the time anyway.
That's not what I live on.
Except some, like, if I don't have to work until the afternoon or I don't have to work at all, then I just stay in bed like crazy. But
right.
I can see why you would need somebody with that. But you would only have to go in at 6 a.m. on like 2 days a week.
Right.
Sunday and Thursday.
Right. Yep.
But me personally, I'd rather come in at 6 a.m. on Thursday than stay until close, because then I can at least still go out to karaoke on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Get off of work at like 3 in the afternoon, go home, take a little nap, and then go out for karaoke.
I live off Jersey Mike subs. We just started getting Jersey Mikes a few years ago.
Mike.
I never actually been there yet.
I have been pretty much, since I've been working at Petco, I've been living predominantly off of Taco Bell and Panda Express.
It's in the same, it's close.
Those are the two places that are close. I've never been to Chipotle. I've been to Qdoba once, and they're basically the same thing, but I don't really care for that sort of thing. But I don't think I can keep going to Taco Bell because they don't necessarily, they're not always ready super fast, which means sometimes I have to eat pretty quick. And then I like the spicy food and all that. So then it doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
While I'm like continuing to like do work around the store and like move dog bags around and different things like that. Like, nope.
Look at this boy. Look at this boy. He has been more cuddly since he got his balls snipped. That's the one big behavior difference I've noticed.
Yeah. They do that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's from that or if it's just because we had that 5-week vacation, hospital vacation, and he just missed us so much. Oh God, there you go.
But technically, since I live 7 minutes away, one of my first days that I got lunch, I think it might have even been on the very first day. I actually ran home, made myself a sandwich, ate the sandwich, and then hopped back to the car and went back to work.
Yep.
I'm not gonna necessarily do that very often at all. In fact, I don't plan to do that really again ever. But it's good to know that I can do that if I have to. But there's a lot of places that aren't necessarily within walking distance, but are super duper close to where it's just hop in a car and go like 2 blocks. There's like Raising Cane's and KFC and Subway and Charlie's or not Charlie's.
There's Firehouse Subs across the traffic light.
There's a Firehouse Subs?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been there in like a long time. I didn't know there was one right there.
Yeah, at the light at Target, if you go straight across.
The only place I ever saw a Firehouse Subs was over in Maryland Heights. And so like I went there like once or twice, but not in a long time.
Nick's asking, are we on the West Coast? No, we're in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yep. We both live in St. Louis, smack dab in the center of the country.
Yeah.
We don't have Firehouse. Yeah. It's kind of a local, semi-local thing, I think.
I think it's kind of like a Midwest thing.
At least Midwest, yeah. But it started actually as a fire department, and then they started making like sub sandwiches and kind of selling them and stuff like that, and then it kind of turned into an actual chain. But they have a whole bunch of different like hot sauces and stuff you can put on your subs as well, that range from like spiciness levels from like 1 to 10. And like right at the end of the sandwich bar, they have like all the sauces in like a tray. And it's like a rainbow of sauces ranging from 1 to 10 of spiciness. And there's all different sorts of flavors and things.
I just realized I didn't turn off my live reactions.
Oh.
Okay, it's fixed.
Live reactions are
fixed. All right.
Unless you're like streaming vertical and you're like trying to do that sort of thing, which I wonder if that's the only way you can get your live stream to pop in on shorts.
Yeah, maybe. The few times I've been through St. Louis, I was so impressed by how clean it was compared to here. I hate people who litter. It depends on where in St. Louis you are.
Yeah, it really does. Because if you go to like actual downtown St. Louis, what they count as St. Louis the city, and you go to like North City or anywhere around there, yeah, it's not nice. It's not.
And it also depends on like what events are happening. Yeah.
And certain areas, like the high traffic areas and areas like, it depends, to like right around the airport, some of those intersections, like I've taken a picture. I wonder if I did keep it or if I actually did delete it. I think I deleted it, but let me see if I still have it.
Well, Jesus Christ, Joshua.
No, I deleted it. I took a picture I was at an intersection waiting for my light to turn green so I could turn left, and I just pulled up and I was right next to the airport. And I look over and there's just piles and piles of trash just built up all over, like right there. And I took a picture of it, and I was going to talk about it in like a live stream, and I just kind of decided not to, and whatever else. And I eventually deleted the picture. But yeah, it's like, this is why you don't give homeless people food from McDonald's or whatever, because they just throw it right on the ground and make a big old mess of it or whatever, you know.
Joshua said the last time I was in St. Louis, I saw a dead body. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I worked at Target in Bridgeton, I had somebody like OD in the middle of the store. Mm-hmm. We had to call police and all that with that. And yeah, there's gunshots around the house all the time, like Nathan just said. That stuff sort of just happens or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are big about the environment.
Scuba Steve, yes, everybody's on my side right now. Nick says, "Oh my god, I would be out there picking it all up. I can't help myself. I hate litter." I betrayed Danny. I'm over here now. No, I've seen it where people, like, especially around where we live, will stop at a traffic light. One of their car doors will open and they'll just dump the trash out onto the street. And I just like so much want to just get out of my car and grab it all up and like throw it back in their car. Like, come on. Come on.
I'm a mod for Gina. You're a mod for me too, Scuba Steve. Oh, no, never mind. No, you're not.
Oh.
I thought he was. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he never changed his name to Scuba Stevo's Champion Aquatics.
That's true. That was the condition.
That was the condition. Yeah. I forgot. That's my Uber. Well, see, that's the thing, too. It's just like, it seems like we have two extremes when it comes to people that litter as well. You either have the people that throw the trash right out of their car, or you have the people that just throw the trash anywhere in their car.
Yeah.
Like, you have very few people that are actually like me that just, they collect the trash, and at the end of every trip, like, you throw your trash away in a trash receptacle, and you keep your car actually clean.
The thing is, who's going to pick that stuff up if you toss it out the window? Yep, exactly. No, there is an in-between because I'm that in-between. So I do have a bag in my car and sometimes it dumps over. So there is a little bit of trash, but I don't have like trash piled in my car.
I mean, if you have an actual trash bag in your car, I think that is fine. My mother does that. She has like a little trash bag in her car because sometimes she'll just be driving and she wants to have one of her little mints or butterscotches or whatever. And she just, throws the little plastic in one of her little bags. And, the bag never really builds up any sort of big amount of trash, but there's that sort of thing. But I'm talking about the people that have like just piles of McDonald's and whatever else in their back seat. And even in the front passenger seat, and like you're like, hey, and like, oh, I'll go ahead and drive, and you go to get in the seat, and they're like, moving bags and all that stuff, so you can actually clear the seat to be able to sit in it. Like, I don't want to ride with you. I'm good. I'm just gonna drive myself. Thanks.
Scuba Steve answering who's going to pick it up. Some damn inmates. Yep.
Yeah.
That's who's going to pick it up.
Yeah, we got a lot of different like volunteer groups around here, and actually people that pay, I guess, to actually put a name on a road.
Yeah, the adopt a road.
The road, adopt a road stuff, and they actually have to keep it clean themselves and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even the environment. Oh, sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
We both clicked on it at the same time. So, but yeah. It's totally true. I hate lazy people.
Now, I'm lazy to a degree, but it's only ever really detrimental to myself. I'm not lazy in the way that it's detrimental to other people.
Exactly. I am the same exact way. I'm only lazy when it only affects myself. Like, if I got nothing to do today, like, screw it. Why get out of bed? Like, I got nothing to do. Like, I'll just be lazy, and then I might get out of bed at like noon, and then I'll just start watching YouTube videos and just not do shit because I don't have anything else to do. Like, I'm that sort of lazy, but I'm not the type of person to ever like intentionally just leave work for somebody else that I know I can get done.
Yeah.
Or,
oh yeah, I always do that. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this now. And I'll put this in my drawer. This is future Gina's problem. And then in the future, I'm like, God damn, past Gina is such a bitch. Damn it. Why didn't I do this before?
So does Danny have saltwater tanks as well? No. I did kind of have a saltwater tank going for a while, actually, in this 40-gallon breeder, but my laziness kind of got the best of me, and I didn't even have success keeping mollies in there. So I haven't done, but then again, I didn't like really set up like a good saltwater tank. I just kind of put on hang on the bag filter and a power head and called it good. And yeah, there's that. I'm looking at poor Riley there.
I know. She just stands there and pouts. She's so sad. She's so pathetic.
But speaking of saltwater, I've been kind of though I have plenty of tanks and all those different things that I have. I am a fan of like the all-in-one tank setups, and I've been looking at this 14-gallon cube that we actually sell at Petco. It's like an all-in-one like saltwater cube, and it even has like a spot in the back where you can add like a protein skimmer in there and all that too. And we sell the protein skimmer that fits in there and all that. So it's just like, I might set up like a small saltwater tank, and just get like an anemone and a couple clownfish.
Yep.
And just do that.
Yeah, we actually have that set up at my old store as a display tank. And yeah, it's pretty self-reliant. Like, we don't usually have issues. That's actually where they put the seahorses, the aquacultured yellow tangs go in there, the pipefish go in there.
And it's made by the Aqueon saltwater company, Coralscape or whatever it's called, something like that. It's literally Aqueon products, but it's just a different name, and I think it's just their marine line. But they even have that same company and branding. They have, a hang on the back filter that has a built-in protein skimmer, and it's just like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So it's like you could put like a small nano saltwater tank with a hang on the back filter and put a protein skimmer on it still. Because I really think a protein skimmer makes a huge difference.
It does.
And so you saying that, that's what you have there at the store and it's pretty self-reliant. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it is that it's been set up for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But still, like, that actually makes me pretty confident that, like, yeah, I kind of want to get one of those because, like, I do really like those all-in-one tanks. And it's got all the filtration and stuff hidden away in the back. You can pop a heater right in there, too, and just keep everything hidden away and just have the tank highlighted with just this little rock structure and all that. And then once I get comfortable with that, I still want to get finished on building this sump and all that and get my 60-gallon breeder in my living room set up.
Nick says my best friend, we all know it's his boyfriend, just got a couple Mandarin gobies. Oh my god, those are so awesome and to find and to look at. They're really cool.
Yeah, Mandarin gobies are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And saltwater just has so many cool fish. And we just sold a fuzzy dwarf lionfish the other day.
You guys called me.
I had to call Gina because I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't quite know how to handle this guy. I'm gonna show some Google pictures of these guys because they're awesome.
They're so freaking cute.
That's like exactly what ours looked like. You didn't necessarily have all the super bright colors, or some of these are special lights and all that they use too. But yeah, super cute. But they're covered in spines. They're venomous, and I didn't want to get stung. So I'm just sitting here like, what do I do? How do I catch one of these guys? Obviously, you can't just use a net because the net they'll get caught in the net. So it was actually Brian that was just like, well, use the specimen cup. And I'm like, well, duh. Why didn't I think of that? Specimen cup. Just put the little specimen cup right in there. So that's what I did. Well, I put the specimen cup in there, and I have one myself. Make sure I can see here. I used one of these, just one of the substrate spoon things, and I just kind of used it to coax him right into the specimen container. But the next step was what I was worried about, like, how do I bag him up? Because he's too big for me to comfortably put him in like a Betta cup. Even for like short travel, that just didn't seem right to me. And we didn't have any sort of bigger plastic cups. And I wasn't there when he got shipped in, so I didn't know how he got shipped in. So that's when I called Gina. I'm just like, okay, I'm at the point now where I can catch him and I know what to do, but how do I bag him up? And then Gina gave me the bright idea of putting him into a smaller bag and then putting him into a bigger bag that also had water in it, so that the smaller bag is like floating in the bigger bag. And then that way, if he pokes through that bag, at least there's like some way to protect him from like the other bag. Well, I ended up having to like triple bag him, because when I caught the guy, catching the guy and putting him into the specimen cup was super easy. When I got the first smaller bag, I'm going to take this down now. There we go. But I got the smaller bag and I put him in there. I dumped the fish in, and he starts trying to jump out. And he actually jumped and almost cleared the bag. And I'm like reaching up to like try to like catch him. And I'm like also like in the middle of like the thing of like catching him in like slow mo. I'm like telling my brain, no, you can't catch him. And it's like put my hand back down. And it's like he's just like jumping out, and I'm like freaking out. And this guy's like watching me do it. And so I'm just like, I have to like grab the top of the bag where he's like jumping up. So I eventually did, and I grabbed it, and he's kind of jumping around, and I'm freaking out, and I'm trying to like twist it up. And he's already poked holes by this point. And so I'm like trying to put a rubber band on while there's like water spraying out. And so then I got another small bag and turned that one over and like did like one of those things where you kind of put him in like a ball. And that seemed to work fairly well. He wasn't poking out of that and seemed to kind of calm down a little bit at that point. Wasn't jumping around. And then, got the bigger bag, added a little bit of water to that, and then put that bag inside and sealed all that off, and then handed it to the guy. And he was telling me, it's like, you don't want to get stung by one of those guys. I got stung by one before and different things. And it's kind of telling me some stories. And so I'm just like, Well, you already have some experience with lionfish. I have nothing, so there's nothing that I can tell you. So here you go. Good luck.
Yep. I call it double water bag.
Yeah.
Double water bag.
And so then he walked up, and that was the last I saw that lionfish. But man, yeah, that I was like sweating and freaking out. And
so yeah, Nick was asking about the lionfish. So you can have those with other fish, and Joshua was answering his questions. Yeah, you can. It's just they are predatory, like Joshua said. Anything that'll fit in their mouth, they'll try to eat.
Yep. You want to put them with other predatory, like carnivorous fish that are of the same sort of size,
but not triggers. Triggers and lionfish apparently have beef with each other, and the triggers can actually get between their spines and attack them. So,
yeah, to that beak.
Not triggers.
And then I think they're fine with like snails and
small ornamental shrimp they'll eat, like sexy shrimp they'll eat. Like those small.
I guess they're probably fine with like emerald crabs though.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So your tank cleaners and stuff they're pretty good with. And then so
you guys should keep the shipping bags. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I was kind of telling Brian, is when we at Pet Supplies Plus, because they don't carry them at Petco, which I'm glad they don't anyway. But at Pet Supplies Plus, they would carry the electric blue crawfish and the white ones and the orange ones and stuff too. But whenever those would come in, they would come in and basically in a Betta cup that was in a plastic bag.
Yep.
And so it would keep them from being able to grab the bag. And so I figured, you probably ship a lionfish basically the same way, like in a big plastic cup inside a bag or whatever. But no,
it's like Joshua said, those shipping bags are a thicker millimeter bag.
Yeah.
And they're like triple, quadruple bagged in those. So yeah.
Yeah. Still, man, that bouncing around.
I don't know about keeping the shipping bag because I always
ping pong ball.
I always end up cutting the bag to release the fish, so I wouldn't be able to keep them.
Yeah.
You guys have those shrimp, but they're clear. Go shrimp.
Yeah,
I saw one the other day. Yeah, we get like 50 at a time.
We got 25 in the last time. But
25 at a time. Yeah, 25 at a time. Yeah.
5 of them were dead, but I had to accept fish.
What I hate
prior training
is whenever I get in Go Shrimp and they have that little parasitic worm in them and you can see it. And I was like, well, I'm writing off this whole bag.
Oh, yeah. The red one?
No, it's like a little white spaghetti worm that's in them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I'm writing all these off. They're going to be dead in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did, Joshua. That's how I was stung by one. It was never whenever I was catching them. It was, I wasn't paying attention to what tank. I was at Marine Solutions. I wasn't paying attention to what tank I was in when I was scrubbing algae. And yeah, I went to go up the back wall and I lifted him up out of the water. And it was whenever I went back down is when he flicked and he got me right on the hand. That was a nice, like 5 hours of stinging hot pain. That wasn't fun.
Ick is one of those things that's just ever present all the time in like every sort of aquatic environment. You can never like fully ever get rid of it, but most of the time it's not a problem. Most of the time your fish's slime coat protects the fish from any sort of issue, and that's just how it is. But it's when your fish gets sick from like something else and gets an issue with their slime coat that the ick parasite can actually get through, and then they start, laying their eggs and stuff inside your fish, which is what actually causes those white sores.
Yeah.
Or
stress from transport is usually what also thins out a fish's slime coat.
Yeah.
And makes them susceptible to it.
Illness, stress, whatever.
Fish herpes. Yep.
Fish herpes, yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Yes, but ick is a protozoa.
Ick's really not as big of an issue as people think it is.
It's a very common
if
thing.
You catch it, right away, and you're not afraid to treat for it.
Yeah. Yep.
The medicines that we have, I've used this several times. API Super Ick Cure. It's super easy to use because most of our tanks are, set up by values of 10 gallons, multiples of 10 gallons, and that comes in packets where each packet is good for 10 gallons. So if you got a 10-gallon tank, you just add one packet. If you got a 20-gallon tank, you add 2 packets. It's super easy to use, and it's effective and doesn't kill your plants or anything like that. So maybe your super duper sensitive plants might have an issue with it, but I haven't had an issue ever using that, except affecting my lighting.
That's a good question. And do you guys clean the algae off your tanks, or do you leave it? I leave it on the back wall. I don't worry about the back wall. But if I can see into the sides of my tanks, then I clean the sides and the front.
Yeah, when I was at the store the other day, somebody had noticed that the saltwater tanks were looking pretty bad. And
in the store you have to keep all the walls clean. But my personal tanks, the sides and the front, I leave the back wall.
I don't know. It just depends. Most of the time, my tanks, I haven't really had much of an algae issue. But yeah, I definitely like to keep the front glass as clean as possible. Sometimes I'll let the back and the sides and whatever just kind of build up. But yeah, definitely always keeping the front glass clean.
My friend says it's when it's very colorful, that is a good thing. He says it tells you your tank is healthy. And a saltwater tank, yes. It means you have biodiversity. And usually the red is like the coralline algae, red or purple. There is green coralline too, but yeah. Now it's whenever you start getting into the slimy looking stuff or the stringy looking stuff. That's the not so good stuff. But you have to go through an ugly phase first before everything kind of balances out.
Yeah, the brown diatomaceous algae.
Mm-hmm. That is true too. Depends on what tank and what algae.
Yep. Right now, one of the issues that Gina, as the animal care specialist, is going to have to help us overcome at Petco is in our cichlid tanks, we have this black slime algae. It's not blackbeard algae.
That has been an issue for so long. That was an issue I came into whenever I first started working at that store. So that's been around for years.
Yep. We've tried, not necessarily recently, but throughout the years and throughout time, they've tried completely taking all the gravel out and, bleaching all that and putting, clean stuff in there after scrubbing all the tanks down, all different sorts of things, cleaning out filters. They clean out the filter socks every week or something like that. So it's not anything that's necessarily built up in the filter system. They've tried so many different things. But
I tried ChemiClean.
Coming back.
Yep. Yeah, I tried ChemiClean. Tried redoing everything. It's bad. And it smells.
And I mean, it takes over really, really fast too. Yeah. Where one day you'll go in there and you'll mix up all the substrate and it'll look good. Then all that stuff will go down into the filter, and you'll come in the next day and the substrate is completely covered again. Yep. That is not Marco, actually. That is Casper. Or actually, that's Willow. And yeah, that call specifically is the one that annoys me. The repetitive whistle and then the screech right at the end. But it is what it is. I try to ignore it most of the time, and having my headphones on kind of helps. But yeah, I'm hearing it straight through the headphones.
Nick says, and once you buy live rock, as long as it doesn't die, there's no maintenance you need to do to them, right? Like taking them out to clean them or anything. So there will be not diatoms. There will be detritus that will build up in the rock and in the sand. If you're sand sifting, that should take it out. But yes, technically every now and then you should take your rock out and like swish it in a bucket of dirty tank water. So like when you're doing a water change, you can take some of the rocks out and like swish it just to get some of that detritus out.
If you can.
If you can.
Because I was just thinking about how the structure that I've already built in my 60 breeder that I haven't glued together yet, like there's no way that you can just take that out to just shake it, because I plan to glue it all together into this one big structure that you just can't take out. So
yeah,
that's not gonna happen. But doing it that way and actually cementing it all together should keep those like random little cracks from the between rock sections clear. So I only have to worry about stuff building up in the natural crevices of the rocks already. And then, that's just some good water flow and shaking it out with your hand too.
Yep.
So Nick, have you recently set up a saltwater tank? Is that what he's saying? I guess they've recently set up a saltwater tank, or his friend did. Oh, yeah. I mean, whether you get the man-made rock or the collected rock, like most of it is actually like dead coral and stuff, so it's very sharp. But the man-made stuff is just like mostly just like a type of concrete, and then they kind of dye it purple.
Yeah.
Or you can even actually get like, I have a piece from my tank that was saltwater, that is now the Bearded Dragons tank. I have this big old piece of dead coral that I bought. And it's like, if you see from the back, like this was the main like stem of the coral, and it just died in somebody's tank or out in the ocean, I don't know, and it's just built in. But yeah, like it's got a bunch of little pieces on there that, I mean, I don't know if I would call it necessarily like truly like sharp like a razor, but it's got a lot of pointy stuff.
Well, and then if you start getting vermitid snails, those are sharp. Those are super sharp.
Yeah. That's an expensive rock. It can. Some of that stuff can be expensive, yeah. That actually, I bought that at Marine Solutions where Gina used to work at one point, and I think it was just the same price as any other rock. Actually, it just kind of went by weight.
Yep. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Yep, I've been slowly through this time gonna be rearranging this entire room now. Now I got him set up exactly where I want him. I like him where the 40 breeder always used to be. I like the 40 breeder right in the center of the room. And then I might move these guys out of like the corner and then actually put them behind me instead so we get like a straight view with those guys. And I don't know. I don't know what other sort of animals I might get down the road. Because I like all different sorts of animals. And yeah, I collected a whole bunch of, fish tanks over the years. But just because I bought them as fish tanks doesn't mean I can't turn that glass box into something else. Just like I turned this glass box into a container for this awesome bearded dragon over here. And, working at a pet store again is going to give me some new content potentially as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've been slacking as far as, making content on my YouTube channel for a while now. It's just been lack of motivation and lack of time. But now I have more time. And I'm working side by side with animals again, and with fish people in the fish department and all that stuff again. So, that's gonna definitely give me more inspiration on what sort of videos to make, and make some fun bearded dragon videos too. I don't know, different videos. There's lots of different things. I was thinking about making a video, on making the tank for the bearded dragon and using the excavator sand and all that stuff. But I was kind of in a rush to get it all done because I wanted to buy this bearded dragon as soon as possible. One, I wanted to buy him over Black Friday weekend because they were 50% off, and I wanted to save money because who doesn't want to save money? But also, I wanted to. There's a reason I wanted to get him too, was that he was like twice as big as the other bearded dragons in the enclosure, and we actually had to take one of the bearded dragons out of that enclosure because he was like getting like malnourished. Just wasn't getting like the food because all the other bearded dragons, especially this guy, was getting all the food. So
yeah, out competing him.
So I wanted to get him out of that tank for the sake of the other bearded dragons, and I wanted to buy him while he was on sale as well. So there's just multiple reasons why I wanted to get him as soon as possible and didn't have time to film getting the tank set up. But
that's okay. You can do it whenever you upgrade them.
Like grasshoppers and crickets? Yes, grasshoppers, crickets, various types of roaches, mealworms, superworms, safe caterpillars. I mean, there's obviously there's types of bugs out there that are poisonous or taste bad, stink bugs or whatever that just taste bad and smell, and then there's like poisonous and venomous caterpillars and things like that. Obviously, you can't feed them that, but I mean, pretty much any sort of insect that is small enough for them to eat, that is safe for them to eat, they will and can eat. And then they're also omnivores. Uh, they'll eat like vegetation. You want to make them like a salad, stuff like that. Obviously, you don't want to have too many fruits. They're definitely more on the vegetable side versus the fruit side of the like vegetable side of things. Whereas like crested geckos and golden geckos and stuff like that are a little bit more on the fruitier side of things, but mainly insects and things like that is what they're gonna mostly go for. It's good. I have chopped up mustard greens, and I also have like multicolored bell peppers that I have chopped up as bite size. Bell peppers are great because they're not highly acidic and they're not high in sugar, but they are very high in vitamin C, which is an essential vitamin for these guys. Vitamin C and vitamin D. They need plenty of sunlight and they need plenty of vitamin C. And they don't really go for orange peels, and then the high acidity and sugars of oranges and other citruses and stuff. It's not very good for them. And you could always gut load their insects by having them eat oranges and stuff like that if you wanted to. But bell peppers have just as much, if not more, vitamin C as citrus fruits, and they go for those.
Yep.
Not spicy peppers. I'm not 100% sure if reptiles have capsaicin receptors or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume they do. So I wouldn't feed them spicy peppers or anything like that.
You just don't want to grab them insects from outside, because those insects could have parasites, which
yeah.
The crickets that you buy and stuff and the bugs that you sell at a pet store also could have them. They're just a lot less likely to, because they're bred in captivity.
Right. And apparently raising mealworms and superworms is actually super easy to do as well, as is raising crickets and dubia roaches and things like that. But apparently, when it comes down to it, crickets are probably the worst option to go for. Just one, they're most likely to carry parasites. Two, their enclosures and everything like that just tend to stink because mainly of three, they only live 2 days, maybe 3 days, and then they just die and stuff like that. They crawl all over each other and die and all that. So raising crickets is just a mess and not really worth it. Whereas raising mealworms, raising superworms, stuff like that is apparent. I haven't done it. I haven't done a whole lot of research into it at all, but it's apparently super easy to do.
Yeah.
And apparently mealworms mainly just do it themselves. They eventually turn into beetles. The beetles lay eggs. The eggs hatch, and you got more mealworms until they eventually turn into beetles and continue the cycle.
They prefer live bugs.
Definitely, that's another big thing that is really dumb. That they even make. I can't believe that they even make that sort of stuff. Prepared bearded dragon foods, or sell big bags of dead insects.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in an absolute pinch, I guess that's fine for a day or two, whatever. If you have to, hold you over through a cold winter per se, But I mean, always feed it to them live if you can, because one, they love the chase. And the chase also helps them kind of regulate how much they're eating too, because if they're full and they have to continue to chase it, they're less likely they can actually go after it. Whereas if it's just a giant bowl of food, they're just gonna engorge themselves.
Right.
But reptiles have capsaicin receptors. Thank you. They turn into the beetles.
They do. Yes, and that's why you have to keep mealworms in the refrigerator. It's to put them into like a stasis so that they don't continue to grow and continue to form and then turn into beetles.
Which, speaking of things in a refrigerator, my pond, it has been very cold the last, several days or whatever. My pond completely froze over. I wasn't worried about it or anything like that. But I went outside yesterday and was kind of looking at my pond. And it looks like, while it's still frozen over or whatever, it looks like most of my fish are dead.
Oh.
They're just like laying on their side up at the level of the ice. There's some that are still kind of down low that I can see that look like they're still vertical, but I'm kind of like knocked on the ice or whatever, and they haven't even moved in the slightest that I've seen. So like right now in this moment, I'm just assuming that all my fish are dead, which it just kind of sucks because I didn't have any of that issue with my smaller pond. You would think a bigger pond that was deeper would have less of an issue with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened.
I know sometimes when ponds freeze over, if there's a lot of plant matter left over in there, the plants continue to decay, so CO2 builds up.
Yeah, I did have a significant amount of leaf litter that I just kind of kept in there. But like I said, I didn't have any of that issue when the pond was smaller, and I actually had like the same amount of fish in a smaller pond. So I don't know. It's just weird, and it just kind of sucks. I'm gonna see what happens when it thaws out or whatever, and maybe I'll have one or two left. But I know my two big koi are definitely dead. And I think all the small goldfish are dead too. But I don't know.
All right, Nick's got
hot sauce in the fridge or not?
Yeah, I was gonna say Nick's got a burning question.
I keep everything in the fridge.
So yes, if it's open, I keep it in the fridge. But technically, it depends on the hot sauce. So I actually got Nathan like the Hot Ones, season 13 like lineup. And yeah, nice. Some of them say to refrigerate after opening, and some of them don't. So I think it just depends on what's in the hot sauce. But me personally, if it's open, I keep it in the fridge.
Some hot sauces have higher levels of vinegar and salt and different things like that. And, Tabasco sauce, it's pretty much just vinegar, salt, and pepper juice or whatever. So it's 100% a preservative within itself, more or less. Yeah. So that you obviously don't have to keep in the fridge. I think Frank's Red Hot is pretty close to that too. So you don't really have to keep it in the fridge. But if you get the Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce, that has a lot of butter in it and other things like that. So you do have to keep that in the fridge once you've opened it because, all of that. So it depends on the label.
I asked because I had no idea you could keep it on the counter. Well, you have to think at restaurants. Some restaurants have bottles of hot sauce that they keep on the tables. Like ketchup, you don't really always have to refrigerate. That's kept on tables at restaurants.
See, but I also refrigerate my ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
I just always like to keep it in the refrigerator just because I like to have my condiments cold.
Yeah.
And there's some people that are the complete opposite of that. Like, I've even heard somebody use the reasoning, like, why would you want to put a cold ketchup on your perfectly hot, burger?
Because it's too hot. It's too hot, and the ketchup helps cool it down. Just like my chicken nuggies, I make them too hot, and I want to eat them right away, so the ketchup helps cool them down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the time the chicken nuggies aren't too hot to burn your mouth, the ketchup is like, reached room temperature as well. And so it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the exact thing. I really do want to put cold ketchup on my hot dog. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I do.
We put even the bread. Now, see, I've heard things against putting bread in the fridge and the refrigerator and the freezer. I know from experience that bread in the freezer, they say that it lasts longer, but the second you take the bread out of the freezer, you got 1 day until it goes completely stale.
So growing up, my dad would take us to Sam's like every 3 months. We were big Sam's shoppers. So we would get 10 gallons of milk. We would get 10 loaves of bread. And yeah, we would freeze them. We had a vertical door freezer, deep freezer, and that's where we would put them. But you couldn't just take the bread out of the freezer straight. We then had a refrigerator next to it. So the next milk would go in the refrigerator to thaw out. The next bread would go in the refrigerator to thaw out. It had to slowly thaw. Otherwise, yes, the condensation will build up in there and then cause it to mold. There's a method. There's a method to it.
I want a 20-piece chicken nuggets too.
Now I want a 20-piece chicken nugget. That's actually genius. I know. They don't freeze eggs though. Don't freeze eggs.
No, don't freeze eggs.
They'll explode.
The only problem with freezing milk like that is you can no longer go by the expiration date.
Yeah, you can no longer go by the expiration date. We just know to use it up in a week or so, or 2 weeks.
And I don't 100% abide by the expiration date anyway. Depending on the milk. Sometimes, yeah. I'll always smell it first or whatever.
You always smell it. Always.
But you can go sometimes, a week after, maybe 2 weeks after, depending on what type of milk you have or whatever, But
yeah.
If you drink out of the bottle, though, and any of that bacteria from your mouth touches any of the milk that is still in the container, it makes it spoil faster. That is actually proven science. That's why you don't drink out of the milk carton.
That's where a good Sharpie comes in. Yep.
Yeah.
I just ate some sweet chili chicken leftovers. Ooh, that sounds good. My boss bought me Subway today as my last meal at that store. He's like, I'm going to buy you lunch. I'm like, okay. He's like, actually, you should be buying me lunch for losing you. And I was like, yeah, well, that's not how it's going to go. You're going to buy me lunch.
We have a rule. No one ever drinks out of the container. See, I live by myself, so I will drink out of my juice container because it's just a big, it's the same as drinking out of a small Gatorade bottle. It's just a big one, and I'm the only one that drinks it anyway. It's my juice, so that's that for me. But yeah, I don't drink out of the milk carton for sure or anything like that. And I don't really buy a lot of milk anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go through a phase where I just crave a lot of breakfast cereal. Mm-hmm. And so I'll buy a couple boxes of cereal and I'll drink 3 gallons of milk in the course of 3 weeks.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden I don't crave cereal or milk at all anymore. And then I have half a gallon of milk that just expires in my fridge and I don't buy milk for 4 more months. So
same. that ADHD hyperfixation on certain foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that the hyperfix too. It's like, he said now I want a 20-piece chicken nuggets, and it's just like I got chicken strips in my freezer. I'm pretty sure I got chicken nuggets in my freezer too that I can make. But right now, I am specifically craving McDonald's chicken nuggets.
It's like, but they're not McDonald's chicken nuggets. Oh, Fruity Pebbles. He said Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch. Fruity Pebbles.
I'm all about Captain Crunch Captain Crunch berries.
I think I still have some Fruity Pebbles
Fruity
on top of my fridge.
Fruity Pebbles are good for 3 bites, and then they just turn into pure sog.
So, okay. So I actually love to put them over like vanilla Greek yogurt. That's really good.
I love mixing stuff with vanilla Greek yogurt. I used to buy the Dove like dark chocolate covered blueberries and stuff like that, and throw those in Greek yogurt. Yeah. But see, I'm
or
all
vanilla
about
ice cream.
Captain Crunch berries. I am the person that likes to be masochistic and ruin the top of my mouth on Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles and vanilla yogurt. Yes, it's so
cereal good. And yogurt in general is really good. You should try it. The only thing is you got to be careful, because if you do get a cereal that's like has really big, sharp, like crunchy pieces, like the cereal does not go soggy in yogurt. It fully keeps its consistency because it doesn't absorb any of the moisture because the yogurt is too thick. So if you don't want to completely destroy your mouth on Captain Crunch, do not have it in yogurt.
So I discovered this because some soft serve, like frozen yogurt or soft serve froyo places, sometimes they'll have Fruity Pebbles as a topping. And I saw that one time. I was like, what? And I tried it and I was like, this is the best.
Yep. But yeah, Special K in yogurt's really good. Frosted Flakes in yogurt. That adds a little bit of crunch. Of course, you can always add just like Chex or Cheerios if you just want a little crunch too. Honey Nut Cheerios, though, in a vanilla yogurt, where you get that like honey and the vanilla with a little bit of nutty flavor. Oh, yeah, that's some good stuff.
I'm going to go try it if we have it. I know we have vanilla yogurt. Yes, do it. So good. It's so good. Yeah, because it's like adding like just sugary granola to your yogurt. Yep. That's all you're really doing, is you're making it more dessert rather than healthy.
Yep, making it like a parfait.
Yeah, so
and you can add some fruit sauce and stuff to it too if you want. And actually make a parfait.
Yeah.
Parfait.
What else do I do that's weird? Okay, so going back to the bread in the fridge, I could see that if you don't go through your bread quickly, keeping it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like if it's spoiled, if you can't go through a whole loaf fast enough and then it gets moldy, then I can see keeping it in the fridge.
Recently, I've been buying half loaves, but I've been going through those so fast that I want to go to buying full loaves. But I can't find like a full bread loaf of like sourdough sandwich bread. I can only find half loaves, and I really, really have been enjoying this sourdough bread that I've been getting.
Yeah.
So I love sourdough bread.
Without going to like Breadco or something and asking for a sourdough loaf to be sliced. Yeah.
Yeah. My sister just makes her own sourdough bread, but not me. Dutch country potato bread? I don't know if I've ever had that.
Yeah, I know of potato bread. I know like potato bread buns and potato bread rolls. I guess I have seen loaves of potato bread, but not Dutch country potato bread specifically.
I think there's a burger place somewhere around here that actually only does like potato buns. I can't remember what it was. It's not Five Guys, but it was a burger place that I gone to with somebody, and now I can't remember what it is. But I remember like looking, it's like everything says potato bun. I don't want a potato bun. Like
Joshua says, I have to keep all bread in the fridge with our old farmhouse. We have mice. Yeah. I think that's also why growing up we kept it in the fridge and stuff, is because my sister's cat loved bread. And she would take the loaf, she would jump up on the counter, grab it, take it onto the floor, and not just bite into the end, but in the middle of the loaf, she would tear it open to eat the bread. So the whole thing would go stale.
Well, right. Go straight for the heart.
Yeah. She was such a bitch. Stupid cat.
Thin, soft potato bread is a thing over here. Google Timbrodrille. I probably screwed that all the way up. Timbrodrille. That's a weird tongue twister.
Is he Swedish, right?
Yeah, I think it's Swedish. Yeah.
You said it okay. Close enough.
I
learned German. Yeah, Sweden. Ha.
Yeah.
Silly Swedish. See, I see that in my brain instantly tries to read it with like German influence.
Well,
because I learned German for so long. I see the umlaut and I'm like, oh, German. No, that's not German.
I mean, it's Germanic or whatever, and it's close enough where like you can get by using the German pronunciation, which is basically what I did. But yeah, there's some slight differences. It's mainly more in the word use.
More hearty, if that makes sense. Potato bread, more dense, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, it's not as fluffy. People around here make a lot of banana bread and zucchini bread and stuff like that too. One of my customers, she made me banana bread once, and I didn't even eat it because like I'm not like really big on banana bread. I'm just like it's okay, but I just don't really ever eat it. And but she asked me about it, one day, and so I was like, oh yeah, it was really good. Thanks for that banana bread. I wanted to be appreciative or whatever. And then all of a sudden she just started making me a bunch of banana bread. And so I just kept like, dropping it off in the warehouse or whatever with, my coworkers and stuff, like, make it for breakfast. But I did actually eat a couple pieces of it sometimes, and it was pretty good because she wouldn't just make like plain old banana bread. She put like blueberries in there as well.
Aww.
And some walnuts, which I would be fine with it just at that. She would also add coconut, which would just kind of throw it off with me. I don't really care much for coconut. If it was just the blueberries and the walnuts, I would have been like, all right. If it was just the blueberries with the banana bread, I would have been like pretty happy with that for sure.
That was going to be my next question: is banana bread with nuts or without nuts? Apparently that's a debate.
Definitely.
Just like brownies. Nuts. Just like brownies. With nuts or without nuts?
I'm fine eating brownies with nuts, though when I was a kid, I would not be. Though I definitely prefer my brownies without nuts.
Yeah. I'll eat either, but yeah, I prefer without. But banana bread, I prefer with nuts.
The only chunks that I want in my brownies are chunks of chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah. Nick says without.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, when I took that banana bread, I warmed it up in the microwave just to make it like a little warm. And then I put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of it. And that was some good stuff.
Yeah. Now I want banana bread. Now I'm gonna have to go to the gas station and get like one of those muffins, banana nut muffins. Those are good. Do you work tomorrow?
I do. I close tomorrow.
You close, yeah. So I'm probably not gonna see you.
Yeah, you will. I go in at noon.
A little bit. Oh, okay.
Because we close at 7 on Sundays. So.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I have an extra hour to clean.
Yeah.
Yes. I was talking to Brian about it. He goes, if the 6 a.m. doesn't work for Sunday, I was like, no, it's fine because I have an extra hour. Like we open an hour later, so I have an extra hour to clean. That worked.
Yeah. I mean, you have 4 hours before the store opens.
Yeah.
To get those animals looking awesome. So.
I will do it.
Yep. It'll be great.
And on to the fish. The fish is what's going to take forever to fix.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those tanks aren't too bad. But the person that was a quote unquote like fish expert or whatever that ran that department before Gina got there or whatever. Not Gina, Gigi got there. Definitely did not know what they were doing.
Yeah.
They definitely seemed like the type of person that probably acted like they did know what they were doing, but was a very confident ignoramus.
Yeah.
Because you look in the tanks that have some aquatic plants, and it's just like, okay, he was on the right track in his thinking where he's like, let me add some aquatic plant substrate into these planted aquariums. But none of the plants that are in those tanks require aquatic plant substrate at all.
Yeah.
It's Java fern and Java moss and Anubias and maybe a little bit of Bucephalandra, like that. They're all epiphytic plants and none of them have any roots in the substrate whatsoever. So the aquatic substrate mixed in with the gravel is doing nothing but causing algae problems.
Yep. Oh, Nick, I'm aware of my flaws at having a good work ethic. I'm also a doer. I'm really bad at delegating out tasks. In my mind, I have to do everything.
Yeah. Which, I mean, when it comes to working at Petco, at least this location specifically, isn't necessarily that bad. Because, I mean, sometimes it's literally just you and the other person.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's really a lot that person can do other than, you watch the front registers and take care of the orders, and I'll do everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a much smaller staff, so I will be having to do more, which is fine. I'm used to it. I did it for 5 years. So yeah. Is the family/son okay? Yes, he's fine. It's just we still don't have a night home nurse, so we're still working on that. But yes, otherwise he's doing great.
Yeah.
Nathan did tell me that I need to send in for refills for some of his prescriptions, so I'm going to be doing that tonight after stream. Red chameleon.
I wonder what that looks like.
Is the plant tank still broken?
What do you mean?
The last time I was in there, that divided three-way plant tank wasn't running. She had air systems in it.
It's running.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is kind of nice. I wouldn't.
Sorry to steer it off course, but get any new knives or anything lately, Gina? I did not, but I have a little funny story about the knife I carried today.
That's a
we'll wait till we're. Ooh. don't know if that's it.
It probably doesn't look quite like that in most tanks.
I like the mix of the red and the green. That's pretty. And that red is bright. Plants have never been my thing. Yeah, I keep trying, but I keep just getting plants confused with each other. Like, I can pretty well ID crypts. Crypts are pretty easy.
Probably what it's going to look like in most people's tanks.
Yeah.
A little bit of reddish bronze sort of color and green with a coloration change between the two.
Like, I can look at a crypt and be like, hey, that's a crypt. But could I tell you which one? No. But I could be like, hey, that looks like a crypt. That looks like a sword. That looks like a Java fern. Like,
yeah. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell though between the two. Like, so like this one.
Yeah.
This one I would is like, is that a crypt or is that a sword?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the veining that really tells me the difference. But
yeah,
this one too. It's like I would think that was a crypt, not a sword. I think that'd be like a Wenti type, like a pink crypt or something. I don't know. Sometimes it's really just kind of hard to tell.
So yeah, no, my coworker came up to me today, actually the head aquatic specialist, and she goes, Gina, I need a knife. Can I use yours? And I just go, she's like, I don't like the way that you laughed. And I was like, yeah, here, you can use this. And she's like, why is it so big? And then she opened it and she's like, why is it so big? I was like, what do you mean? It's just
a completely average knife.
It's just the Megatherium. What are you talking about? She's like, why? Why is this? Why do you have this? And I was like, what do you mean? It's perfectly fine. It's legal. It's legal. What are you talking about? She's like, I don't want to use that. Yes, R.I.P. Isham. He was the designer. He ended up passing.
This is a knife.
This is a knife. That's what she said. Shut up, Nathan. I love hearing other people's knife stories. Yeah, no, because she's used to like me carrying like this kind of knife.
Yep.
This had been my usual everyday carry. But now and then I pull out a Megatherium.
Sometimes, yeah, it's like I'm just trying to open a box and I got this like almost stiletto type blade that's like this long, and it's like, this is a little excessive to open a box. In
your hands it looks huge, and mine it would look average. Yes.
That's also what she said.
That's also what she said. Yes, Elijah Isham did some really great design work.
Yeah. I've been seeing so many random things about knives.
You're welcome.
Let's see what happens if I just type knife in Google. What sort of cool images pop up?
Oh, Nathan just sent me another one. So we got, I forget what brand it is. It'll say in the listing.
Trekker elk hunt. Ooh, what do we have here? Ooh.
Oh. Okay, so Nathan did text me about the gunshots in the backyard, and then he sent me a video. I'll look at that later. Oh, he sent me 2 knives. Oh, the cedar, the Rob Johnson cedar. He sent it to me. Apparently it's in blue now. Oh, you made me small. Oh, it's Damascus. Oh, darn. Nathan, would you look at that? It's sold out. Oh, darn it. We missed out on this averagely priced knife.
I really want one of these.
Oh, like a cleaver type? Yep.
A big old chef's knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, just so much.
we love knives. Like love. Like in love. Yes.
One of these little bitty knives. These are fun.
Little chode knife.
Ooh, look at that cooking set.
That's cool.
I need that.
Nathan and I talked about whenever we go to Blade Show again. I want to budget in in our spending money that I do want a new kitchen set.
Yeah, I need a good, nice set of kitchen knives. I've just been buying those cheap ones that are like have a light like ceramic coating on the outside, so they're non-stick. Which it's great to like chop vegetables and all of that with those, but I really want a really cool set that has like the
what I thought was hilarious.
Steel.
What I thought was hilarious was that when we went to Blade Show Atlanta last year, Cutco had a booth at Blade Show, and I thought it was hilarious. I was like, what are you people doing here?
Yeah. Look at those. Those are cool. It's funny seeing Nordic knives underneath a butterfly knife. Mm-hmm.
Is anyone familiar with who Ken Block was? Well, I was thinking about having one of my Malibus done custom, kind of to match the Porsche they built for him, the pink one. I think that would look awesome. Ooh. Mickey says, next door to my cafe, they have a Japanese knife shop. Ooh, that'd be dope.
Can't go wrong with the good old Swiss Army knife, though.
Do I still have my dessert version? I don't have my dessert warrior version out here. The Victorinox, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we got a Rob Johnson at Blade Show last year. I think it's the same honeycomb pattern, too. Ooh. And what's this Kaiser link that you sent me? Coming soon.
Whoa. Look at that.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, there's the guitar with that one.
Kaiser's coming out with Christmas stuff? Oh, no.
William Henry.
Oh, that drop bear is super cute.
I don't know who this William Henry is, but he makes some cool knives.
Gina, you must have Nathan get you something from Hog House, maybe for Christmas, wink, wink. They're already sold out. What, these Kaisers are already sold out? No, there's going to be another... December 5th. Never mind. That was 2 days ago. This drop bear is cute, though.
Who's this William Henry guy, and how do I get to...
Nathan, why didn't you buy me...
Oh, my goodness. That is a $1,200 knife.
Not all of them are sold out.
These look William like Henry knives are $1,200 knives. Oh my goodness, they're gorgeous though.
Oh yes. Why didn't you buy me this drop bear then, if you knew it was going to sell out, Nathan?
Whoa.
I'm going to get myself something from Hog House.
That looks like the cursed knife they used to kill Lucifer in that TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It can be very confusing when expensive knives resemble gas station knives and gas station resemble expensive. It's confusing if you don't know. Yep. It's because it's a crossbar lock and you hate crossbar locks. That is true. That's basically like getting Gina one. Yeah, like the ZT that you keep claiming is yours. That's actually mine. That's my knife.
Oh, that's nice. So yeah, I just Googled knife.
That last comment might make Nathan actually get up and get in here and yell at me.
Do you have any fixed blades?
Oh, I just took the stack out. Yeah, at Blade Show I got the Desert Warrior Moira fishing blade, like the boning knife. Nathan made me a fixed blade that I was carrying for a while. I think those are my only 2 fixed blades, technically, but Nathan has a couple. I had the stack here, but then I just reorganized all my makeup. I bought a whole new set of makeup. So I brought my organizer out here so that's there now. I had to take them all and put them on his nightstand. I'm like, figure out where to put all these. They're in my space.
I've always liked the Talon style, like fighting knives with the rings.
Yeah. Possession is 9/10 of the law. No, Nathan keeps all of his receipts.
That's a knife.
Where is B? I haven't seen B pop up. Somebody else streaming? Oh, Roll Shambo is also streaming. On the knifey side. She gets a certain excitement in her voice as soon as we start talking knives. That's how you know it's real and genuine. Yes. Yes. Same thing with fish, though. Like, whenever I haven't seen my therapist in a long time. I need to get back to going to my therapy appointments. But, yeah, he always said that we would always start talking about saltwater fish after. He's like, I just like how you light up. And I always want to end the session on a positive note. And I was like, oh, because he also has a saltwater tank.
Oh, there's
hey,
your
I have
knife.
that. Hey, I have that. That's the Savivi, I think. Or is that just the Boker? I don't remember. I have it, though.
Oh, that's a switchblade type.
That's an out the front.
Yeah.
I just heard him yell across the house. Sorry, it's the Boker. I have all 3 sizes, the mini, the regular, and the extra large. Oh my God, absolutely. Yes, light up. That's what I meant. It's awesome to witness in person. Aw. Thanks.
I definitely had some interest in blacksmithing for a while. I've always loved traditional Damascus steel or whatever is its own thing, but what they call Damascus style blades or whatever that have.
Ooh, I like that set.
Designs.
Oh, I love that.
That's a really cool
I think that's abalone.
Yeah, abalone handle.
Yes. So
which isn't that made from the inner shell of clams?
Yeah, so it's abalone or abalone, however you pronounce it. It's a snail. So it's only one shell. It's like a type of lipid.
Nice.
But yeah, so they have to get very large, like as big as your hand, in order to be able to have usable material to make it into a handle like that.
See, I love that feather design. It's just so cool.
It'll always be a very niche community and stuff. Knives, yes. Of course she likes those. You know what, Nathan? Go away.
Who needs a new pizza cutter?
Nick calls it Mother of Pearl. So Mother of Pearl is different.
Mother of Pearl is actually like white and like opalescent. That's actually made from the inner shell of clams.
Yep.
Butcher's Scimitar.
I bet he'd like the seasonal pens from Tactile, the exclusive ones. Well, like my Machine Wise pen. I have a Machine Wise pen. We were actually just talking about. I let my coworker borrow this yesterday, I think, and I got it back, and the ink was skipping, and I was like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "I just used it, and then I closed it, and I handed it back to you. And he's yelling at me from across. I don't know what he said.
Oh, the tactile pens? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this really cool flashlight that I forgot to show, but we're like out of time now.
Oh. But yeah, no, I just had to change
this.
I just had to change my ink cartridge because it was skipping. I think she ended up dropping it open and it landed on the ballpoint.
I want a cool Damascus style blade of like an awesome like blacksmith made blade, and then like an antler handle. That'd be so cool. Even though that abalone is pretty sweet.
Oh, this is a tactile pen. My bad. This is not machine wise. This is tactile. Sorry. It's the leafy one.
Nice.
I know what you meant.
But this flashlight I got is like super duper bright, and it's got like built-in strobe and all that stuff too.
Yes.
It's like a self-defense everyday carry flashlight, and it charges by a USB cord. So I just keep it in my car with the cord there. I can use the same cord to charge my flashlight or my phone or whatever else. So
it is tactile turn because here's the box that came in. The Sprout. That's what it's called. Tactile turn. It's the Sprout. Is the box that came in.
Nice.
Whoopsie.
Well, anyway, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark. It's 10 o'clock. Gina's got to get herself to bed because she's got to wake up
at 5 a.m.
Yep.
It's fine.
Meanwhile, I think I might go get some chicken nuggies.
Chicken nuggies? I do need to get some food before I go to bed. I had some SpaghettiOs before I started, but that's not enough. That's something else I do weird. Sorry, I know we're over. But anybody else, SpaghettiOs or canned ravioli, do you ever just crack the can and eat it straight out of the can?
My brother did that. And I would never really do that, though I could. I just prefer my SpaghettiOs hot. But, I mean, SpaghettiOs for sure. If I needed to or whatever, like, I would totally just pop the can and eat those. Like
I do. See, Nick does too. Heck yeah. In fact, I prefer it that way. Yeah, I cracked the can.
Speaking of gunshots.
Oh.
You guys hear this?
Yeah, no, I just cracked the can, sat on the couch, and Nathan goes by and goes, "You're so freaking weird." I was like, why dirty another dish? Why?
Right. I mean, if I could throw the can in the microwave, I would, but
yeah, exactly. All right. That was my last little snippet.
5 a.m. Well, that's the time that Gina has to wake up.
That's when my first alarm's going to go off.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time on another episode of Fishing Friends. Not sure if it's going to be this Saturday or next Saturday or maybe a different day. As Gina and I start working together now, we're going to have to figure out a new schedule maybe, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know.
Yep.
Anyway, so long. Thanks for the fish.
Bye.